let me pick up on something that Homi alluded to a little bit, but mostly was not talked about, which is the moment of time that we're in right now, which seems to me the best of times and the worst of times. Probably most obviously the worst of times in all the things that are collapsing around us. The best of times only in one sense, in that around all this collapse comes a certain receptivity to consider alternatives that I think people would have found excuses not to look at otherwise. And so as a community, I challenge all of us, and this will be our conversation tomorrow, to think about how to take advantage of the particular time that we're in, to get people to take into account things that in some cases we've known for a long time but haven't acted on. In some cases, as Ben implied, some things that are genuinely new learnings along the way. For example, this issue that Jeff raised about the knowing-doing gap. This is infuriating for all of us, probably everyone on this call, who over time has seen some of these things so desperately in need of change and so difficult to move. And what we were trying to do in the case studies was to highlight not just the need to move these things, but how some organizations are doing or have done that. So those of you who are in the middle of this or just want to know more about it, I hope you'll go all the way back to the source material in the case studies themselves, because they give you, to the best we could document it, what organizations are actually doing to try and deal with these realities. I'll give you just a couple of points that I think are significant, but I could equally give you 50. One of the ones that seems to me very important and increasingly obvious is that there are only a couple of systems that can deliver outcomes sustainably at scale. And those are basically host country governments and private sector players, with some notable exceptions, but those are the dominant ones. So when we have projects that willfully choose to separate themselves from those things in order to give themselves more independence and more latitude of motion, we set up a dynamic that makes it incredibly difficult to find your way back to what Kevin Starr calls the doers and the payers at scale. So who has an incentive and an ability to pay for the delivery at scale? Who has an incentive and an ability to actually deliver at scale? And it's a relatively limited number of players. And we're beginning to understand more and more, I think, how the limited interventions that we have the luxury of performing can, at least potentially in the best case, inform, strengthen, or in some cases, influence those sorts of processes.